Ta-da!
Alright gamers, here's a little shot of the materials that we're going to be using now when we start our massive terrain build for our desert scape. We've got various sizes of cardboard that we're going to be cutting into different shapes. We'll be gluing together and then melting together with some flame. So we got a lot of styrofoam here. It's going to be interesting to see how this all fits together. It's going to make a massive mess, but hey, that's what we do with Massive Uprisings. So let's go ahead and start digging into this stuff. Alright gamers, here we have now all the styrofoam pieces that are cut out and glued together. We have our basic structures now that we will go ahead and add sand to. We'll put some spackling on and paint them up. I just want to show you the progress that we've made so far. Basically, this was a really easy process. What we did was we just went and cut different sizes, different thicknesses of our styrofoam and just glued them together in different sort of layered striation formations. So we got a couple towers in the back there. This tower right here we made with even thinner styrofoam. Some of that stuff is a bit thicker. We switched around thick and thin there. And over here we've got a nice little hill here, and one of my favorite pieces, this one right here, it's got this really interesting base and just kind of bends its way leaning outwards. Another hill here. All these are really simple. We just basically glued them together and put weights on them, books, and let them dry overnight. A more interesting piece, a more complicated piece was this one right here. So this is the archway that we made, and to start out with this archway, what we really want to do is make sure it was strong and that it wouldn't crack and break in transportation when we use it in storage. So we went ahead and made a little MDF type base here, and on top of that we put a layer of styrofoam, and we're going to end up blending that together with sand and with different kinds of materials to make it a really smooth transition between that board on the bottom there and the styrofoam. And then what we did was we went ahead and we just cut out again different various sizes and thicknesses of styrofoam, and we put them together. In this case what we did though was in each one of these we used toothpicks. We didn't use this in the other ones because I don't think we really needed them for structural stability, but here the integrity of this piece requires a little more strength. So we, each piece that we put down, we put some glue and then we put some toothpicks in there. So this whole thing is connected by toothpicks up to another MDF piece here that kind of connects it all with a little bit of styrofoam underneath to give it some nice texture. Once again, we will cover all of this with some spackling and some sand to give it some even more rougher texture to kind of take care of those seams a little bit. But that should be a pretty good piece. I'm excited to get all that, this one painted up and see how it looks with all the various shades and dry brushing on it. And one more thing in case you're wondering, what we did here was after we glued these down together, they were obviously a little bulky and a little square. We went, took a candle then and just did some melting. And what we did was we were able to melt some of those seams together and give it more of a seamless kind of look. We still have that stepping feature, but it really roughed it up and made it look more authentic and more genuine. That of course will get even better when we start putting our spackling and our sand on there, but it's a nice way to make sure that, especially if you're using this white styrofoam, you don't have beads that are coming off. And it kind of pulls the whole piece together. Just a little bit of melting. Make sure you open windows for that because it really stinks, but I think it gives a nice effect, especially for this desert scape kind of look. So there you go folks, the brief update for how this Massive Uprisings project is going for our desert scape. And we will check in with you for another update when we get some more basing, painting, sand, spackling on these things and get them closer to their finished product. Well, thank you for joining us here today at Gray Army Gaming, where Gray can always play.